Quickly, Mr. Okparandudu.
Yes, please.
Let's find out. Do you have anywhere in that report that says that all of those people, 3,000 plus, were not paid the said 3.8 billion?
Thank you very much. Let me even respond before I answer your question to one of the things my friend Dan Okehi just mentioned. I don't see the logic, for instance. This is about logic now. We are trying to bring out everything to the public domain. I don't see the logic in a situation where you borrowed money from a bank, ostensibly to pay government officials. And then when the state government pays you the money, rather than use the funds that you receive from the state government to pay back the loan you took from the bank, they're advising you to keep it in a core deposit account. I don't know of any bank. I don't know whether you got that link. He borrowed money from the bank, ostensibly to pay back councillors and all kinds of people who work for a previous administration. Then the government now pays him the money. Rather than the bank use the proceeds, the money, to repay the facility they ostensibly gave him earlier, the bank now tells him, advises him, keep it in a core deposit account. This is common sense.
Okay.
This is
We'll get his response
so
to
now,
that.
He will respond.
you understand what I'm saying? So no, this is common sense, because if I were a bank and I think it belongs to the same financial services industry, and I lent you money in the first place to meet certain obligations to third parties.
Let's move on to the other side now.
The other question was,
point, yes.
The other question was whether there was, pardon me?
Any sign that the money was paid to the 3,000 plus former employees?
The fact is that by the records available to us,
yes,
we do not have even the matter of his engagement is also something that needs to be looked into. If you were properly engaged, you understand what I'm saying, and you had all these things done, you ought to, at the end of the entire exercise, submit a report to government on all that you have done. Just a minute. So if people were actually paid, there must be evidence that you paid those people. Okay?
Has anybody complained that they haven't been paid?
No, it's not. You're talking about his engagement. It's not. There are still political office holders in Imo State who up to today are complaining that they've not been paid. That's at aside. Now, what I'm trying to say here in effect is this. If Mr. Dan Okehi with Brick Red Consult actually we are engaged, even though for us in government, we find it even irregular that you had to engage a consultant for the purpose of helping you raise a loan and for the purpose of you using that same consultant to pay third parties. You understand? We are own councillors or former councillors. We don't quite get that as something that is fair and proper to have been done. Now, it is up to Mr. Okehi or Dr. Okehi to provide evidence to this same commission of inquiry that has been empaneled by government to look into this matter.
That he was properly engaged?
Precisely.
It's precisely.
And that he did the job.
Now,
and that there's no liability on his part.
See, if the government, if the government did not understand this transaction that was done, the ideal thing was for them to have invited us to clarify issues instead of going to the press. They didn't do that. That is what international standard of inquiry does. They didn't give us that opportunity. Why going to the press to declare us guilty when you haven't had us? So that's number one.
So you were never invited?
They never invited me.
So the first
there is nobody in Imo State, past political office holder, that will say we didn't pay the money. Those who signed up all agreement.
Where are the documents?
The documents are here. And the people paid, and the account, we didn't pay them by cash. The account we are credited. All right? And talking about our appointment, you see, we saved the situation in Imo State. They don't understand what went wrong, what was going on. Now, at a point when the government was saying, look, we'll pay you on monthly basis. The government will pay as per the money they collect. And they were asking for their money in bulk. Now, there was a need for a solution, and that solution we provided. And nobody can take it away from us. These people that were paid are grateful. Forever will remain grateful to our idea and the concept.
Right,
now, there is another issue that of importance.
Yes.
You see, when people are talking of Jack account, when my brother was talking about Jack, the Jack account is a committee. And this committee sat and approved that this transaction should be done. And we were not paid. They were saying we were paid. The bank was paid. The bank who provided the loan were paid on monthly basis.
Okay.
All right? So it wasn't illegal at all.
So at what point was that money then being converted to dollars?
Now, remember we took a loan of 3.8
$8 billion. Yes.
This money came to our account and was sitting there idle. We started paying money gradually to people as we get approval, because we were asking how did we authenticate the people that were expected to pay. We went to every local government with the government officials and approved, confirmed those that served between one point to the other and their entitlement, and agreed with the government and with the State House of Assembly before we proceeded. So there was nothing illegal in all that was done.
So when you were getting the money, you said that the bank was paid. Was it the bank that was paid or your account?
No, it was our account to the bank. We didn't touch the money because we were not supposed to touch the money.
I guess one of the things that would raise some concerns from what the government is saying is the money was paid into your account. What was your term in terms of the facility you got from the bank?
Yes,
what was your term?
No,
was it that the 24 installment will be paid as it returns to you, or was it a case of a
now
10-year
the
plan
bank
for
created
payment?
3 accounts, and that's what they didn't understand.
Okay.
There was a loan account.
Yes.
As the money was being repaid, it went to the loan account. All right. This loan account we were not touching. Remember, the money we invested. The money we invested wasn't the state government's money. Thank you. It was money we borrowed, and we had right to make sure that we protected the fund, to make sure we accomplished the aim of obtaining the
Can
loan.
I come in here, please?
All right,
I
very
think
quickly.
we need to, much as we are here before viewers, we have to say things that are logical. Now, you were engaged by the state government, ostensibly under a mandate that says you are going to assist it, pay former office holders. Now, you got a loan from the bank. And because I'm taking all the things he's saying one after the other. Then at the point you got the loan, and when it came to repayment, you were paid. And you kept that money in a call account. It stands to reason that if you are a banker, and you have lent money to somebody for a purpose, and that the money for that purpose or the repayment thereof comes in, the logical thing for you as a banker is to apply that money to repayment of the facility. Now, in this instance, and let's get it right, you took this loan from the bank. You paid political office holders. Then, you now got the money from the state government, whether it was in 24 installments or 100 installments, it doesn't matter. The bank still gave you the liberty to keep their own money in a call account, because in essence, it is the bank's own money because they've lent you money. I don't see any responsible financial institution to whom you're exposed in a clearly leveraged transaction that will agree that the proceeds out of which they will cover their exposure to you comes in, and then I give you the liberty to keep it in a call account and earn money. And don't forget, at the end of the day, you now use the same proceeds to buy foreign exchange. I would expect, listen, this is logic. I would expect, there's no misjudgment here. I would expect, for instance, when a bank gives you, because we need to tie these things up properly. When a bank gives you a loan, and you would have taken that loan saying, oh, I'm paying these monies you are giving me to past political office holders. When the money is coming from these people, I will apply the same money towards paying back that loan. Now, in this case, the money comes in, you don't apply it. You understand what I'm saying? You don't apply it. You now have the liberty to place it on a call account and begin to earn money. And then you also have the liberty. There's no, excuse me. Let me finish. Let me finish. Before he reacts, Mr. Moderator, let me also tell you something. He also admitted that the said money was used in buying foreign exchange. If you took a loan from a bank and then the proceeds of the transaction comes in, what resources or what funds would you have to begin to buy foreign exchange from the banks? These are all questions we are asking, and which the judicial panel of inquiry is supposed to look at.
Let me
That's fine. I may not even want to ask you to respond, because it is obvious that if I take a loan, I might have a... That was why I was asking you earlier, that what's the term of payment? It could be 5 years, it could be 10 years. How long was your term of payment?
24 months.
Payment back to the bank.
To the bank.
Yes, was this a short-term loan that you were meant to pay back within...
No, it was still 24 months. Now, what he was saying,
months.
now as the payments were coming, remember they didn't come at the same time. Well, their paper accused us that we took the money paid by the state government in 2010. It wasn't the government money we used in doing whatever we're doing. The government money was coming gradually, and the bank was using it to repay back the loan as agreed. There was an agreement.
Okay,
all right, signed.
Because we don't have a lot of time, let's come back to the Attorney General. In terms of the contract for Brick Red Consult, is it valid?
If a government on whom sovereignty in the state is vested comes to the conclusion that it is in their best interest to enter into this agreement and proper procedure is followed, you can't fault it on grounds of validity. But that is exactly not what we're talking about.
So
now,
it is a valid contract.
It could very well be.
A very valid
it could very
contract.
well be if,
And the
for
contracts are
instance,
here.
all the procedures for the award of a valid contract are awarded. In any case, the government also has validity and sovereignty in law to enter into such commitments. But that is not our problem. Our problem is that from what he has been saying so far, you see that an explanation ought to be made to Imo people about what happened to this money. And that is why the government has set up a judicial panel of inquiry that will give him an opportunity to make this explanation. And there is this thing they say.
Auditor General, did your auditor
I didn't talk about I didn't say anything about him.
Sorry.
I didn't say anything about him on the Auditor General.
Okay.
Now, but let me now say something about him on these things.
Okay.
He has said this, that he was not had. They were not invited. And I ask you, at what point? The Constitution is clear. By the time you want to determine the civil rights and obligation of a person, you must give him the right to be heard. Now, this is an executive council committee that government set up. And the committee had made preliminary inquiries to government about what government should do. Now, guided by the contents of this report, government now decided to do that thing, i.e., give all the people involved an opportunity of being heard.
But Mr. Nyanko, you gave them an opportunity through
the
image
of
not at all.
By saying money has been consumed.
I think I'll say.
I mean, this is embarrassing.
I think I'll say. I think after 1 minute, I think I still have to complain about his penchant of interrupting me all the time. I won't follow your example though,
because you are disrupting the truth.
I won't follow your example because it is wrong. Now, but however, the point I'm making is this: this government report did not in any manner make a pronouncement of guilt or otherwise on any of them. No, not at all.
It was
in
in
fact,
the paper.
for the avoidance of that, let me give you a copy
was in
of
the
the
paper.
report. This is the copy of the report. You can now read it and come to your own conclusion.
There's no embezzlement. There's no embezzlement.
1 minute, Mr. Okay. What the government has done is this. These things raise a prima facie case worthy of further determination. And for that reason, we have now set up a judicial panel of investigation that will begin its public sitting anytime from Monday next week, at which all the parties involved will be invited to appear before the committee, and as to the extent that this thing concerns them, they will be given an opportunity of being heard in their own defense. And it's at that point, yes.